Welcome back to the class, students. So in previous class we have seen about domain name system, and to just uh, let us just review, or let us just recap the previous class. So domain name system is nothing but it is a naming system for different computers, or resources of a computer, or applications of a computer, like web pages, mail applications, or any kind of applications which you can access through internet, which can be accessed through internet by an individual or by a group of people. Okay, so it is a naming system. So you are giving a specific name for each IP address. So the system of giving that name to access a resource is known as domain name system. So domain name system is nothing but it will give a name to IP address, and a user can access that specific resource by typing that IP by typing that name in his web browser. Okay, and domain name system is nothing but it is a way to translate IP address into domain name and domain name into IP address. So whenever you enter a domain name, your DNS system, it will translate the domain name into its IP address, and that IP address will be used for communication between the user and the service. Okay, so this was the topic that we have extensively discussed in the previous class. Now coming to this class, we will go further deeper into a domain name system. We will see how domain name system is implemented. Okay, what are the different DNS servers, and also in the previous class I have also explained about DNS server. Okay, so a DNS server is nothing but a server which will accept the request from your browser. About it will accept the request from the browser regarding converting. It will take your domain name from the browser and it will translate into IP address. Okay, so such server is known as a DNS server. It is something, it is nothing but it is a mapping. It will just map your, it will take the domain name and it will get the IP address and it will return the IP address. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so there are so that was in the previous class, and I have also explained different what are the different types of requests that come to a DNS server, and what are the different kinds of operations that are performed by a DNS server. Okay, so that is the thing. Now let us move on, and in this class we'll try to go through types of DNS servers. Okay, so in the previous class itself I have said DNS server is not a single server, it is a distributed network. Okay, it is a distributed network where every system or every network will have a DNS server. Suppose you are provided internet by some internet service provider like Geo, BSNL, or Airtel, MTNL, different kinds of or even ACT. Okay. So there are different internet service providers providing you the internet. Different internet service providers providing you the internet. But so whenever they are providing you internet service, so the internet service provider will specify the DNS server. Okay, the primary DNS server, the first DNS server which will be contacted whenever you enter a domain name. Okay, so every network will have a primary DNS server. Okay, and whenever you enter uh, any domain name in your URL in your browser, and if when you type enter, that DNS server will be contacted first. It will be contacted first. So that is what the DNS server that will be contacted first will be given by your internet service provider. Okay, so and later on, if the IP first, it will check the IP address in that primary DNS server. If it is not present in that if it is present, then it will reply to the user who has requested for the IP address. If not, it will contact other DNS server. Okay, so there are multiple steps, there are many steps. At the end of the at the end of this class regarding DNS server, I will show you how what exactly happens when you are requesting for a IP address. What exactly happens when you are requesting for a DNS server? Okay, what exactly that happens when you are requesting for a IP address by specifying the domain name. Okay, so you will know at the end of the class. Okay, so first, so there are four types of servers, DNS servers. So first is DNS recursive resolver, or it is also known as DNS resolver. Okay, DNS resolver. So DNS resolver is the first server. A DNS resolver is the is present at the your internet service provider premises, or it is provided by your internet service provider. Okay, so this DNS resolver is the first server that will be contacted whenever you are trying to convert your DNS server into IP address. Whenever you want to convert your DNS server into IP address, so the system will contact this resolver. The system will contact this resolver. Okay, so after contacting resolver, next you are having second root name server. Okay, root name server is the there are only 13 root name servers throughout the world. Okay, there are 13 root name servers which are specifically placed. Okay, they are not concentrated over a single area. They are not concentrated over a single area. They are placed in a at a specific place, so that if you are contacting from any place in the world, if you are contacting the any place in the world, you will be close to at least one of the root server. Okay, in such a way they have placed this 13 root name servers. Okay, so as you know, root means at the bottom, and it will have the idea of it will just it is the topmost place. When it comes to root name server, it is the topmost place. Okay, and there are just go through these things. Okay, I will okay, we can I will explain in the see, these things are for your knowledge purpose actually. So moving on from the topic, so you will exactly know how a DNS server, what are the different kinds of servers, and how you are getting a IP address by using the domain name. You'll have a proper idea. Okay, so you will understand while explaining about how exactly the IP address is how IP address is fetched by using domain name. Okay, at that time I'll explain the performance operation of each of these servers. Okay, so a root name server is a topmost server, and there are only 13 root name servers, and these 13 root name servers are placed strategically throughout the world, and these 13 root servers are maintained by 12 different companies. Okay, so that is the thing. Next you are having top level domain name servers, or TLD name servers. Okay, top level domain name servers. Okay, these top level domain name servers are nothing but the servers which you are having, which will have the idea of, for example, if I press .com. Okay, so for .com you are having a top level domain server. For .com you are having a top level domain server. So any websites like gmail.com or google.com or naukri.com, okay, all these .com servers, okay, the information about all these .com servers is present at top level domain server. Okay, okay, so .net, for .net you will have another top level domain server. For .org, when whatever the website that ends with .org, it will have one separate TLD name server. Whatever the websites that are ending with .in, it will have specific TLD name server. Okay, so like that you are having top level domain name server. So that is the thing. Okay, that is a top level domain name server. Next you are having authoritative name server. Authoritative name servers are the servers that are maintained by the company. Okay, for example, google.com, so that is maintained by Google. Okay, so it contains the exact IP address of whatever the web page you are searching, whatever the resource you are searching related to Google, it will have that IP address. So that IP address will be, so it can be only, you can only fetch the IP address at finally when you reach the authoritative name server. When you reach the authoritative name server, then only you will be able to contact, then only you will be able to fetch the IP address. Okay, so these are the different types of DNS server. Okay, so DNS servers are first DNS resolver. So whenever whatever your internet service provider is having, so it will have a, DNS resolver. Okay, it will have a DNS resolver. So whenever you are trying to fetch the IP address, the first DNS server that you will contact is DNS resolver. Next you are having root name server. Okay, root name server is the topmost DNS server, and there are only 13 root name servers, and all these are placed strategically throughout the world. Next you are having top level TLD name servers, and then you are having authoritative name server. Okay, so these are the different types of DNS servers. Okay, so we will see what is the operation of each of these name servers at the end of this topic. Okay, so but right now just remember them. The thing is, whenever you are requesting for IP address, many, all of them play a part to give you the IP address. Whenever you are typing some domain name in your web browser and your web page is, whenever you enter a domain name and you click on enter, you will see a web page on your browser. You will see a web page on your browser, but that, so before the web page is accessed, first the primary step that web page should perform is, the browser should perform is fetching the IP address. So all of these servers, sometimes all of these servers collectively work together to fetch the IP address that is required to open the web page. Okay, so moving on, let us see what is how, see uh, see, the world is very big, the world is very big, and see, there should be some way, some method for some proper organization of domain name, so that you can easily reach the authoritative name server. At the end of the day, whatever the, if the IP address is not present in DNS resolver, okay, it should go to the authoritative name server. Finally it should reach the authoritative name server. So in a DNS resolver, the whatever the IP address of a specific domain name, it is only for some certain period of time. After certain period of time, the domain name, the IP address related to specific domain name will be vanished, will be erased from its memory. So why? Because it is using cache memory, and that cache memory will have some time period. Only within that time period, or only based on its memory size, uh, based upon its memory size, if a fresh entries or more entries are coming, the old entries will be deleted. Old entries will be deleted. So your so sometimes your directly your IP address, it may present in the DNS resolver. Sometimes it has to go and fetch the authoritative name server. Okay, so many servers, all these servers, sometimes they may help you to get the or fetch the IP address. Okay, so that is the thing. So one thing, so some, it is very important to reach the authoritative name server. Okay, so if you are unable to fetch the IP address in the DNS resolver, so you have to fetch the authoritative name, you have to fetch that IP address from the authoritative name server. But it is there should be a way, there should be a way so that you can quickly reach that authoritative name server. There should be a way so that you can easily your whatever the your internet working devices they are that are present, they should be able to easily locate the authoritative name server. Why? Because different companies will maintain their own authoritative servers. For example, if you are having TCS will maintain its own authoritative server. Okay, and based on that, if you reach the, for example, if you are going for any TCS related websites, So the IP address related to any TCS resource, it will be maintained by the TCS authoritative name server. Okay, the any website or web page or any mailing application or FTP application related to Infosys, it will be maintained by Infosys. It will be maintained by that company Infosys. Okay, in a similar way, there are many thousands and lakhs of different organizations throughout the world, and they will try to maintain their own authoritative servers. So there should be some specific method so that your browser, your DNS servers can easily locate that authoritative server, and they can get you the IP address. Okay, so for that you are having a so for that criteria you are having domain name space. Okay, so domain name space is nothing but, okay, so it is the way in which you are writing the in which you are maintaining the domain name. That means, for example, your mm, domain name is nothing but here www.google.com. This is a domain name. This becomes a domain name. www.gmail.com. This is also a domain name. Okay, so such domain name is very important. This domain name is very important, and proper, so it should be maintained in a hierarchical way. Okay, so all the first let us see the definition, and I am sure that at the end of this class you will be you will understand what is hierarchy, what is all these things. Okay, so domain name space, the entire collection of DNS administrative domains throughout the world are organized in a hierarchy called as the DNS namespace. The entire collection of DNS administrative domains throughout the world are organized in a hierarchy called DNS namespace. Okay, so that is the thing. So the it is able to organize all these IP addresses in a hierarchy called DNS namespace. Okay, so a domain name is a hierarchical distributed method for ease of access of IP address and maintenance. Okay, so a domain name is operated in a hierarchical way. Hierarchical way means, so for example, if let us say, okay, now you are having your college. Now you are having college. Okay, so in your college you are having 5 groups. In your college you are having 5 groups, and under each group the building is divided in a such a way that so and so group will have will uh, so and so group will have the classrooms in so and so place. They are occupying the classrooms and labs at certain part of the building. They are occupying the classes and the labs, and the HOD or staff room for each department is uh, placed at a certain part of the building. Okay, so there is such thing. Okay. So for example, and office and even principal chamber, all these things are located at a specific points in the building. They don't change. They don't change. Okay, so for example, if you come to if you are very if you are coming for very first time to the college, if you are coming to the very first time to the college, and suppose if you are having a brother, if you are if some of your relative is coming to this college, and suppose you are studying in this college in EC second year, you are studying in this college and you belong to EC second year and shift 1, EC second year shift 1, and your brother wants to come and meet you in the college. So what is the first thing he will do? What is the first if he wants to meet you, what is the first step? So first he has to come to this location. First, for example, if he is from some town or some village, if he is from some town or village, first he has to come to Hyderabad. To come to college, first he has to come to Hyderabad. After coming to Hyderabad, he has to come to Masap Tank. After coming to Masap Tank, he has to come to college. Then after coming to college, if he inquires any student, suppose if you are not having mobiles, now if he inquires any student, okay, so they will ask which class, which department. They will ask which department. Okay, so if your brother will reply EC department, then they will show that on the first floor, right side, rightmost corner, on the first floor, rightmost corner, they'll just show the direction, take the stairs, and that is the last class. Okay, they will just show the direction, so you will take their direction, and with the help of them, you'll you'll come to up to EC section. They'll come to up to EC section. After coming to EC section, next, once again there are many classes. Once again there are many classes within EC section. Okay, as you are having six as you are having double shift, you are having six classrooms. Okay, so now he will ask once again, he's having doubt which out of six, in which class you are present. Okay, so for that he will come to the department, he'll come to the head of section room, and he will inquire there. Okay, he will say so and so name. Okay, some Puja, uh, second year first shift. Okay. So then attender or whoever the staff is present over there, then they will guide that person. Okay, so and so 217 room, they will say there's he's in class, and he's that is in 217 room. Okay, so now you can reach that 217 room. Okay, so there is some sort of hierarchy. So first college, from college, so finally whatever whoever relative he is, the end aim of him is to reach to the reach to your classroom. He wants to reach to your classroom, but before reaching your classroom, first he has to come to college. After coming to college, then to section, and from section to your classroom. So he will be able to easily locate you. He will be easily able to easily locate you. Why? Because he is having specific procedure. Even if you are studying in mechanical college, sorry, mechanical section, mechanical department. Okay, the procedure is same. Okay, he will ask any student, they will say where the mechanical department is, and if you go to mechanical department, they will guide you to the specific classroom. Okay, so in this way, if there is no such thing, so if you are trying to merge the uh, staff, if all staff are sitting together, or you don't know where, for example, some mechanical EC triple staff are sitting somewhere, and another mechanical some triple are somewhere. So if you are having 4 5 staff room with mixed sections, and different classes are taking place at the different parts of building. Okay, so then you will not be able to locate, it is very difficult to locate that student, because they are present at the different parts of the building. Even the staff will be confused to properly locate the students. Okay, so such thing. So even a domain name, you have to find the IP address. You have to find the IP address. So you should have path some specific path, so that you can easily identify the IP address. So for example, in a simple case, if you take your pin code, so there are your our country is divided into 8 pin codes. So based on the pin code, just by seeing the pin code, they will be able to say whether it belongs to which part. That letter should the whatever the recipient that belongs to which part of the India, just based on the pin code. Okay, so that lakhs of letters can be easily disbursed. They can easily disburse based on the your pin code. Okay, you can easily just without looking in detail into the entire address, they can just look the pin code, and based on the pin code they will understand. So it belongs to certain part, it belongs to certain part of India. Okay, so at the when it reaches the other post office, they will try to filter much more based on your town, based upon your street. They'll further filter the letter, and they will try to send to the correct recipient. Okay, in a similar way, even IP address, domain name is also very important, and you cannot just have any domain name. Okay, and that is very important. Okay, so that it will be easy for accessing the IP address of specific domain, and even maintenance of that IP address. Okay, so that is the thing. So a domain namespace is arranged in inverted tree structure. Okay, a domain namespace is arranged in inverted tree structure. Means at the top you have root, and from root you have to reach the branches. You will have to reach the branches. So generally for a normal tree, root will be at the bottom and branches are on the top. But when it comes to your domain namespace, the root is at the top and branches are at the bottom. Okay, so it is an inverted tree structure. Your domain namespace is a inverted tree structure which will have roots, branches and zones. Okay, so here this is an example of a domain namespace. Okay, so on top of the domain namespace you are having root node. Okay, on the top of the domain namespace you are having root node. The root node is generally specified with a dot. It is specified with a dot. Okay, below the root node you are having top level nodes. You are having top level nodes. Okay, so below the top level nodes you are having secondary level nodes. Okay, so you can have many levels. Okay, so you can have around 127 levels. Okay, so that means it will from here, here like that. Okay, you can have many levels. Okay, within one root, within a root node you will have one top level node, and after top level node you will have the secondary level nodes, and you can have many number of secondary level nodes. And for a domain name, the maximum possible levels are 127 levels. The maximum possible levels are 127 levels. Okay, so generally root node is nothing but it is just a dot. Okay, it is just a dot. Okay, so first let us see what is a top level node. Okay, so there are three kinds of top level nodes. Okay, top level nodes are divided into three types. Okay, so one is, the first type is generic node. Okay, generic node, generic domain. The generic domain defines the register hosts according to their behavior. Okay, so for example, any commercial organization, suppose if you are trying to register your website, if you are trying to register your website. Okay, now if you are trying to register your website, it is a private commercial organization. So suppose my company, okay, some Vikas group of companies. Okay, so it is a commercial organization. It is a commercial organization. Okay, so that means it will have, it is I have started this company to make some profit. Maybe I want to sell some products, or I want to make I want to sell services, but at the end of the day I want to make profit out of this company. Okay, so whatever the companies which are commercial type and which want to have its own, their own website, then the top level domain of such companies will be .com. .com. Okay, now that is one, for example, this thing. Okay, now .edu. .edu is an example for suppose now I have started an educational institute. Okay, I have started an educational institute, a school or something like that, and I want to have a website. Okay, so whenever I am trying to register my website, so there are some websites which are used to register websites like godaddy.com. Okay, and rock or something. Okay, godaddy.com is somewhat famous, because it is very much on the television and all those things. Okay, go something like godaddy.com. Okay, so if I'm trying to register, I have to enter what is the type of organization, what is the nature, what is the behavior of your company. Okay, so based on that I will be given this domain. I will be listed in domain. If mine is an educational institute, I will be given .edu. Okay, so if mine is a commercial institute organization, I will be given .com as my top level domain. Okay, my top level domain will be ending with .com. Okay, so based on that, similarly if it is a government institution, okay, if it is a government institution, I will be given .gov. Okay, .gov. So like that, see here you can say, for example, any military related group .mil. Okay, so if it is a network support center, for example your Beam, Airtel, Geo, okay, they will end with .network, .net. So .net means whatever some network support uh, service is provided by those websites. Okay, some network support services are provided by the websites. Next, .org. Okay, .org stands for non-profitable organization. For example, your Wikipedia. Okay, whenever you type Wikipedia in the Google, so and when you click on the thing at the end of the web page, it will open .org. It will open .org. .org stands for, so if you are trying to create a website for a non-profitable organization, so it ends with .org. It ends with the .org. Okay, so something like that. So the generic domains, a top level domain can be a generic domain. If a so a top level domain can be a generic domain. If a top level the domain is a generic domain, so the whatever this extensions like .com, .edu, these are this all depend upon the behavior of your company. Behavior based on behavior of the company, you will try to give these extensions. You will try to give these extensions. So that is the example of your generic domain. Okay, so I think you are able to understand this thing. Okay, so that is the thing. Next, after generic domain, your top level domain can be a country. Okay, so for example, if my top level domain, okay, so if my company is in India, if my company is in India, so my top level domain can be that India.in. So whenever in your domain it has .in, it has .in, then your DNS server, whenever your operating system will ask for the IP address of the DNS server, IP address of the domain name, then it will see what are the extensions present. It will see what are the extensions present. So if it sees .in, it understands this website is related to India. This website is related to India, and it will try to reach the DNS servers that are operating in India. It will ask the DNS servers that are operating in India. So and so is the website that I have got. So please specify what is the IP address, like that. So, in a same way, if a that website or that service is the whatever the server that is providing your service or website or any application that is present at USA, so it will have extension .us. It will have the extension .us. Okay, if it is a France, .fr, .ge for Germany. Okay, so in this way, .ge for Germany, .jp for Japan, .au for Australia. Okay, so if a server is present in Australia, the extension of that domain name, you will have .au, and the extension for that similarly UK, China. Okay, and each of the country is having its own domain name, and this top level domains related to generic domain or country domain, they are issued by or they are maintained by the international authority. Okay, so you cannot have your own top level domain. Okay, so whatever the top level domains are there, they are maintained by, they are not flexible. If they want to introduce some more top level domains, it has to be done at international level body. There it has to be done at international level. You cannot just have your own top level domains. Okay, so may it be a generic domain or may it be a country domain, the top level domains are issued by the international authority. So there is an international authority which will be taking care of the top level domain. Okay, so sometimes a top level domain can be a generic or country domain. Okay, a top level domain can be a generic or a country domain. And that means you can have based on the behavior you may have the top level domain, or based on the location of the server you can have the top level domain. But in some cases generic domain can be under country domain. So for example, if you see here, as I have given an example, www.jntu.ac.in, www.jntu.ac.in. Here AC stands for academic institute. AC stands for academic. So it is a type of university or some many different academic activities that are going to take place. Okay, so academic. Now AC stands for academic. Now what is dot in? So this is the generic. So this is the behavior of this. This dot AC will give you the behavior of this next thing. Now next part. Now, but where is this academic institute present in? In which part of the world this academic institute is present in? In India. In India. It is India. So generally your domain name, it will be read from your uh, right to left. Okay, so to fetch a IP address, the domain name first it will be processed from left to right. So it first goes through the dot in. So first it will see dot in. Dot in means it this whatever the IP address they are requesting, it is present in India. So first it will reach the Indian servers, and after that next it will see in India what is, say there are different types of servers, government or educational. You are having .gov servers, you are having .gov websites, you are having .edu websites, you are having .org websites. Okay, you are having .net websites. Okay, so out of this, what is the type of website? Okay, so it is .ac. So it is a whatever you are having, that is a academic institute website within India. Whatever the websites which are academic websites, I, I have to search in that server. So after going for .ac, next it will see next part. Next part is dot. Next part is JNTU. So it will go to that JNTU. After reaching that JNTU, then what is the application? Here www. Www, that means it is a web page related application. So then it will reach the server which is holding the web page of this JNTU. Then it will reach to the server and it will fetch the IP address of the server which is holding the web page of this jntu.ac.in. So, and it will reply with that IP address. It will reply with that IP address. Okay, so that is the thing. So your domain name to fetch IP address, it will always be studied from left to it is always studied from right to left. It is always studied from right to left. Okay, so that is it. Next, apart from this two top level domains, you are also having inverse or reverse domain. Inverse or reverse domain. Okay, so this inverse or reverse domain are used for authentication purpose. They are used for authentication purpose. Okay, so authentication purpose means, so whenever you are so suppose you are having a server. Suppose let us assume you are a server. Let us assume you are a server. So to a server you will have a lot of requests. To any server you will have a lot of requests. Okay, so for example, if you are a server, then from different users you will have a request. Okay, now so for example, this server is only intended to reply to specific users. Okay, so that means this is not a public server, it is a kind of private server. This is a kind of private server where only specific users are to be replied. Specific users are to be replied. So for such kind of thing, for such situations, okay, so whenever I am requesting, okay, if a client is requesting, okay, so when he makes a request, he will have the server will get the IP address. The server will get the IP address. Okay, whenever a client is requesting, the client will send some packets of information, and within that packets of information, information will have the IP address of the source, IP address of the source and IP address of the destination. Now suppose it is now after fetching the IP address of the domain name, now it will have both the IP address of source and IP address of domain. Now if you are having any doubt in this thing, so you can see the that IP packet format, okay, IP version 6 and packet format which I have explained. Okay, now the server to the server, this packet will come, and in that packet the server will see what is the IP address of the source. It will see the IP address of the source, but in a server it will have the names, it will have the what are the permitted names. It will not have the list of IP addresses. It will have the list of only names that are authorized to access. So using the IP address that is present in the packet, using the IP address present in the packet, it will try to fetch the username. Okay, by using the IP address, the server will fetch the username. Okay, so after getting the username, it will compare in the list, it will check the list, and if the name is present in its authorized list, then only it will form the link with the that client. It will form the link with the client, or it will establish the connection with the client, and then it will start communicating with the client. Okay, so that is the purpose of reverse domain or inverse domain. Okay, so generally inverse domain or reverse domain is for the purpose of server. Okay, it is the headache of server, but domain name and your generic domain sorry country domain or generic domain is for the purpose of the user. Okay, so inverse domain is for authentication purpose, and I think you are able to follow this uh, three types of domains. Okay. So here, as I said, so a DNS name hierarchy, it is here you can see. Okay, a DNS hierarchy can be represented by a tree. Okay, so here you are having root. Okay, from root you are having .org, .edu, .gov, .com. Okay, so these are different top level domains. This is one level. Below this, suppose my website is educational related website, so the whatever the server that is maintaining educational related, so next once I reach the root domain, next it will see what is the my extension, what is my extension from right to left. So if it is .edu, then it will go to a server which maintains the path of all the .edu websites. It will maintain the database of .edu websites. Okay, so below the top level domain. Okay, now when in edu, for example, here you can see you are having two different websites. One is maintained by some University of California, and one is maintained by Virginia University. Okay, UCI.edu, and one is Virginia.edu, and within Virginia.edu, once again, so if for Virginia University you are having many branches, you are having different departments. Okay, so here you can see math.virginia.edu, that means within Virginia University it is mathematical it is a mathematical department. Okay, department of maths. Okay, and here on the other side you can see cs.virginia.edu. Okay, and within cs, that means computer science department. Okay, and within the computer science you are having some sort of project. Okay, so that project name is neon. Okay, neon, so neon.cs.virginia.edu. Okay, so now whenever, okay, at the end of the day, if I type neon.cs.virginia.edu in my website, sorry, in my web browser, if I type neon.cs.virginia.edu in my web browser, if I type that domain name, So first it will go to the root server. Okay, after going to the root server, first it will check, it will come from the right side, it will come from the right side. And when it comes from the right side, first it will go and it will check that edu. Okay, it will check it will see that edu extension, and whenever it sees that edu extension, it will go to this top level domain server, which is maintaining the list of all the edu web servers. Top level domain which is maintaining all edu web servers. Okay, which is maintaining the list of IP address of the websites of all edu. Okay, which is maintaining what are it is having the list of what are the different edu websites present in it. It will just have the list, it will not have the IP address, it will have the list. Okay, if you want to reach so and so, there are these many edu websites, and whatever edu website you want to reach, to fetch, you have to fetch IP address, you have to go in this path. To fetch the IP address of the edu website, you have to go in so and so path. Now after reaching edu, next it will check what is the next string. After edu, what is the next string? After edu, you are having Virginia. Okay, you are having Virginia. So your path will be in this way. Why? Because virginia.edu is in this direction. Okay, and after going to the virginia.edu, then once again within virginia.edu, from here you can fetch the IP address. Okay, but sometimes within this you can have some more uh, domain servers. Okay, so if you are having a big university and you are trying to provide each department with its own DNS server, you want to provide each department with its own DNS server, then you will be able to provide in this way. Okay, so suppose then after reaching Virginia, then it will say whether what is the other next string. So if it is CS, then it will go in this direction. Okay, and finally if it is neon.cs.virginia, then it will go in this direction, and finally from here it will fetch the IP address. Okay, from here it will fetch the IP address, and that IP address will be handed over to the operating system of the web browser that is requesting for the IP address. Okay. So here this is one more example. Okay, so suppose this is I think you are very familiar with this website, that is wikipedia.org. So but so suppose .org, first it will go to the root server. So from root server it will go, it will check what is the next string, that is org. What is the type of, what is the uh, type of top level domain, whether it is generic or whether it is country domain. Okay, now here you are having generic, so .org is the generic of that website. Okay, so then it will go to .org. Okay, within .org there are many different types of websites. Okay, or different types of organizations. Within .org there are different types of organizations. So from .org it will ask what is the next string, that is Wikipedia. So it will go to this, it will choose this path. It will say if you want IP address of this en.wikipedia.org, then you have to go in this direction, you have to search in this direction. So after going to this thing, next you are having .en, en dot you are having. Now en is for English. Now Wikipedia is available in many languages. So out of the what is the language of your web page? English. To get the English language Wikipedia, you have to finally reach this uh, server. Okay, so sometimes that IP address you might find directly here only, you can find that IP address here only. And sometimes if possible there can be many levels. Okay, as I said, you can have 127 levels in a domain name maximum possible, but you will not have 127, but you can, it is a, that is a what you can say, you are having that a provision. Okay, you can have as many domains as possible. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so this is the way in which your domain name space is uh, provided. Okay, your domain name is arranged in this way. Okay, I think you are able to understand. Your domain name is arranged in this way so that you are able to easily locate. You are able to your DNS server or your internet working devices. It can easily locate the specific website or specific application, and it can reply back with the IP address for easy. Okay, you can just by seeing the website you can say your DNS server will be able to easily identify at which part I can find what is whom I have to contact, like that. Okay. Now at the end of the day, let us see how you can actually how you are actually accessing the IP address. How you are actually accessing the IP address. So first step, whenever you enter a domain name, like for example here, if he has entered www.facebook.com, okay. So first this IP address will ask the operating system. It will ask the operating system. So and so is the uh, domain name. If you are having in your memory the IP address, please reply back. Please reply back. So if operating system has the IP address of that website, it will try to reply to the web browser. But now if it is not having that IP address, then it will ask the DNS resolver. So this DNS resolver is the this DNS resolver is maintained by ISP. Now we have discussed about different kinds of servers. Now here you can see what are the different kinds of servers. Now first it will ask the DNS server. It will ask the DNS resolver. Okay, so and so is the domain name, and please reply with the IP address. So it will ask the DNS resolver. So once DNS resolver gets the domain name, it will check its cache memory. It will check its cache memory, and after checking its cache memory, so if the cache memory contains whatever the uh, DNS name that the web browser has requested. Okay, if its cache memory has the if the entry is made for the domain name service and its specific IP address, if the entry is made for the domain name and its specific IP address, then here itself it will try to reply with the IP address. Here itself it will be able to reply with the IP address. But if the cache memory if the cache memory of the DNS resolver is not having the IP address of that specific website, then it will send a query to the root name server. Then it will send the query to the root name server. Okay, it will send a query to the root name server that this person is asking me the IP address. Then it can send a request to any 13, as I said in previously also, you are having 13 different root servers. Okay, so this 13 root servers, it can send what it will send the request to whatever the root server that is very near to it. Okay, so this root server, it will just check what is the extension. So it will see .com is the extension. So it will send the whatever the IP address of the .com TLD name server. This root server will not have the IP address of this facebook.com. Okay, it will only have the IP address of the server which is maintaining the list of .com related web servers. Whatever the .com related web servers, they will have an IP address. So it will try to send who is maintaining that .com related web server IP address. So that is top level domain name server. So it will send the IP address of .com TLD name server. Okay, so the .com TLD name server will go back to this resolver, and from the resolver once again it will reach the .com TLD name server. So it will reach the .com TLD name server. Okay, once it reaches the .com TLD name server, that will also not have this entire IP address. Okay, it will not have this IP address, but it will know who is maintaining this facebook.com. Out of this .com websites, who is maintaining this Facebook. Okay, so then that IP address will be provided by this TLD name server to this DNS resolver, and now this DNS resolver will reach to that facebook.com www.facebook.com, and this last server in the DNS will store the website IP address. Okay, and that IP address will be replied to this DNS resolver. That IP address will be replied to this DNS resolver. Finally, TLD name server will send the at what who is the authoritative name server which is having the exact IP address of this facebook.com. It will send who is the what is the IP address that is having the exact that will be having the exact IP address of the facebook.com. So by using that, it will contact the authoritative name server, and that authoritative name server will have the exact IP address, the required IP address of the facebook.com. So this IP address will be this DNS resolver will send the IP address to this operating system, and it will store this IP address in its memory. Okay, in its cache memory. Up to certain time, it will try to hold the IP address of that specific website. Okay, and also it will send the IP address. So once the operating system gets the IP address, it will also try to maintain a copy of that IP address, and it will give back to the it will give the IP address to the web browser. And after it reaches the web browser, that IP address will be used by this web browser, and it will try to use that IP address, and it will try to contact the Facebook server by using the IP address. It will use the IP address, and it will contact the Facebook server. Okay, so that is the thing. So in this way, you will be able to get the IP address from a DNS server. You'll be able to get IP address from DNS server. So here, authoritative name server is maintained by a company. Different authoritative servers will have different. For example, if IBM is a company, or IBM is an organization, it will have its own, it will maintain its own authoritative name server. It will maintain its own authoritative name server. If you take Google is a company, okay, Google is a company, it will have its own authoritative name server. Okay, so Google is having different applications, gmail.com, google.com. Okay, different types of applications will have different IP address, and all these things they will be maintained by Google will maintain IP address related to. So Gmail is nothing but it is a email service. Okay, the type of service that is provided by Gmail is mailing. Okay, so mail dot whenever you type gmail.com in your browser, you will see mail.google.com. So .com stands for commercial, and what is the company? Google is the company. And what is the type of service? Mailing is the type of service. And whenever you enter www.google.com, .com is a company, and what is the name of that company? Google. And what is the type of service? That is web page. It will try to provide the web page. So in this way, different companies will maintain their own authoritative web server. Okay, so it can have many different types of services. So based on your DNS, that is if it is gmail.com, it will go to that authoritative Google server, and it will provide the IP address of the service, which will have mail server, mail application. And if it is google.com, www.google.com, it will go to the www website related web page related application, and it will give you the web page. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay. So in this way, you are able to fetch the IP address from the domain. Okay. So I think you are able to understand today's class, and thank you for your patience. In the next class, we will see few more topics related to your web application. Thank you.